All right. Well, you guys, welcome back. If you are new here, we are the Habit team. The Habit is a nutrition coaching company made for women by women. Our program is built for you with coaches who put your goals, lifestyle, and personality first. If you want to learn more about us, head to the episode notes or go to thehabit.com. That's habit with a Y to either request more information or book your free discovery call. Welcome back to episode 9. You have coaches Zan and Morgan on the mic today. And we're going to do a little deep dive into, quite honestly, realistic expectations and timeline when it comes to weight loss and or fat loss goals, and then also maintenance. We have been, having a lot of conversations with our clients recently, just due to the impatient nature that a weight loss journey brings. And so we just felt like it'd be a good topic to bring to you and honestly validate and normalize the process, but also make sure that you understand, what you should be expecting throughout your program. With that, Morgan, I will let you take it from here and we'll dive into it.
Yeah, so this is such an important topic. I feel like it's one that no one really wants to hear. Like, it's not the most exciting, but it is one that everybody needs to hear because it's so important. Every client I think that I've ever worked with has probably had unrealistic expectations when it comes to fat loss and how fast they think it should be going. And every time, maybe I can think of like one client that I'm like, maybe not her, but literally everybody else has wanted this to happen so much faster than like it's possible, basically. And so kind of just wanted to go over that. So whenever you do your next fat loss phase, or maybe you're in one right now and you can feel like, okay, the progress you are making is actually super normal and great. It's wonderful that you are seeing any kind of fat loss or heading in the right direction. So I kind of want to go over just realistic timeline for fat loss first. And this sounds kind of counterintuitive, but the best timeline is truly no timeline. One that you don't, put yourself in this certain amount of time where you have to get something done, because this is something you really don't have a lot of control over. We can control, how many calories we eat, how many calories we burn through exercise. But it's truly impossible to predict how much weight you're going to lose. You can't say, I'm going to lose 20 pounds in 2 months. It's just not possible to really know if that is actually going to happen. It could, but it also probably couldn't. So if you do need a timeline, maybe you're type A and you're like, I have to know, I want to plan. Then I would say probably the way that I like to think about it with certain clients, and this depends on the person, of course, as always, is most of the time if you have I would say over 20 pounds to lose, I would say give yourself at least 6 to 12 months probably to see big changes like that. 20 pounds is a lot. And so your body needs that time to really be able to do that. And of course, that doesn't mean you need to be in a deficit for 12 months straight. That's a lot. You will have to use nutritional periodization in there, which is where, and this is a definition pulled off Google, this is where you're strategically alternating between fat loss and maintenance to optimize results and prevent metabolic slowdown or metabolic adaptation. And it helps your body adapt more effectively to caloric restriction, reduces the risk of weight regain, and also allows for psychological recovery from the demands of dieting. So it just helps you to kind of flip back and forth from maintenance to fat loss, making it easier on yourself whenever you have these longer term type of goals like that. So that's what I would say for someone who just has a bit more weight to lose. If you're someone who doesn't, maybe you have less than 20 pounds, then I would say usually 16-week deficit is kind of the sweet spot for that. Maybe 20-week if you need to, but you can also use diet breaks in there, things like that to break it up a little bit. So it's kind of what I would say for most clients.
Yeah. It's a great synopsis, and I love the very first thing you said. Do not put a deadline on yourself because you're automatically setting yourself up for failure. There's no cookie cutter answer for this. We cannot guarantee you a certain amount of weight loss in a certain amount of time, and the only reason why that is we're so fixated on that is because of diet culture and all of these fad diets where they promise you will lose 10 to 15 pounds within the first month or two.
Yeah.
So instead of giving yourself a deadline, think about if you lost 15 pounds in a year, and that's still a huge win,
Mhm.
think about how many people lost those 15 pounds and gained it back, lost it and gained it back
Yeah,
in that 1 year.
seriously.
So that's the mindset shift we try to push our clients to, is that look at your past diets. How many times have you lost the weight and gained it back? And so the fact that you just lost 15 pounds in a year and you have not regressed by any means, we can no longer look at that as like something that's not to be proud
Yeah,
of,
for
because
real.
that is
Yes,
huge.
definitely.
So, number one thing, don't put a deadline on yourself. And I feel like a lot of us do, just because we sign up for a program, right? And we initially sign up, with the habit, you can sign up for 4, 6, or 12 months. And so our clients automatically get that in our head. Okay, I have to hit my goal by the 6 months. But we don't want you to feel trapped to that. Well, one, you can extend your program with us no matter what. But two, you know, that is just, the initial fear of commitment to really diving into something. It is against human nature to commit to something for 12
Yeah,
months because
for
you
sure.
don't know, and don't trust yourself that you can stick to it, right? But then once you kind of get into the groove of it, most clients, I mean, Morgan, you can attest to this, whoever signed up initially for 6 months, they most likely re-sign
Yeah,
with
pretty
us and
much.
extend their program for 12 months, because that is where the magic
Mhm.
happens. And for you all to learn how to maintain the results. And much like Morgan said, cycling through the macro phases, that is the game changer in terms of life or long term success. So don't rush it. Set realistic expectations, but also you got to let your body just do its
Yeah,
thing and see what comes with it.
exactly. Really giving your body that time. It's almost unfair to expect your body to change so quickly, and this is a hard truth. Whenever you didn't gain it that quickly. Like, you can't lose it that quickly if you didn't gain it that quickly. You didn't gain the 20 pounds of extra fat in 3 months, you're not gonna lose it in 3 months, it's just not enough time. And our bodies,
Hmm.
they are, even though we might not love them in the moment or at the stage that they're in, they do a lot for us than just gain or lose fat. There's a lot more to us than that, and
Hmm.
so I think just getting away from the timeline and maybe the scale, of course, and thinking about maybe performance goals or that relate to like fitness, maybe doing pull ups or doing 10 push ups without assistance, that kind of thing. And just trying to basically focus your attention somewhere else on different wins and on different goals rather than just the timeline and the actual number on the scale. You will be so much happier if you do that. We see it all the time with clients. And so if you can get to that place, it's way better.
I was just talking to a client where she was expecting to see progress every day,
Mm,
but progress numerically. And I said, that is not realistic.
nope.
You can see progress in other
Hmm.
areas every
For
single
sure.
day, like some habits that you might be working
Mhm,
on, that you want to become, second nature, but a numerical goal, absolutely not. We all know that weight loss is not
mhm,
linear. And so you are not going to see a steady decline on a daily basis. And the reason why this conversation came up was because she's taking a week-long vacation in May, and she's like, I almost feel like I want to cancel this vacation because that 1 week in my program is going to be wasted because I'm not going to make any
mm,
progress that week.
mhm.
And that's something that I really had to dive into a little bit deeper and kind of reframe it for her. And I'm like, whoa, 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 wait, don't cancel your vacation.
No.
Absolutely not. And every single week in this program is not meant to see
Mhm.
progress numerically.
Right.
And so I want you to look back. There was like a month where she was kind of in a plateau. We worked through it, but she didn't really see a ton of progress for a few weeks. And I said, did you go on vacation during that time? She goes, no. And I'm like, okay. So it has nothing to do with
Right.
vacation. It's your body, again, doing its thing, and we need to see what it's really asking for. And so just to kind of reframe it like that and to realize like you got to keep living life,
Mhm.
and because you can't expect to, I mean, basically maintaining progress that 1 week while she's on vacation is a win in
Absolutely. Yep.
itself. And that is what we need to start focusing on rather than chasing something down every single day,
Mhm.
every single week, because that's mentally and
Yeah.
physically
Yeah.
exhausting.
Yeah. Definitely mentally exhausting. I can't even imagine. Um, and another part of that too that I always mention to my clients is, you know, at the habit, I think we like pride ourselves, at least I do. I think everybody does. You can agree. But we pride ourselves in not doing like extremes. We don't do extreme
Mhm.
deficits or extreme workouts or anything like that. We really look at the full picture of your health. Are we gonna lose some fat in the process? Yeah, for most clients, that's what we do, but we really look at their health too and want them to live the healthiest possible life while also hitting, some amazing goals too. And so sustainable progress and results don't happen quickly. They are slower. They are small changes each and every week, or maybe every 2 weeks, maybe every 3 weeks, and that add up to really, really amazing things when you look at it 6 months from today or maybe a year from today. So definitely wanna stretch that timeline by probably 3 or 4 times what you're thinking when you go into a
Yeah.
deficit. And then the next part, this kinda leads us into it, based off of what you said about your client just wanting to expect, a drop on the scale every single day. Just kind of the, realistic idea of, like, how much weight is good, how much is really progress, that kind of thing. So with most people, anything between zero point 0.5 pounds to 2 pounds is great progress, and this is on average per week. So weighing yourself each day at the same time, trying to get accurate information, and then taking that average and comparing it to the next week. And this is also, going to really be based on your consistency, how, well you hit your macros. Did we walk more or did we move, less than last week? That's kind of what we need to be looking at. So anything between zero point 0.5 to 2 pounds is awesome. And I know that might sound so small to some people, but that's actually really, really amazing, especially when we're talking about fat loss, knowing the difference between fat and weight. So it's a great, great difference there.
Absolutely. And like Morgan said, that is a average. It is a
Yeah.
standardized amount. Every person is different. So you cannot expect that. Like, yes, 0.5 to 2 pounds per week is what's healthy, but we're not saying we're guaranteeing that every single week
True.
either, because our bodies are going to release the weight when it wants to. I talk about this, the big whoosh,
Oh,
with my
yes.
clients all the
Hmm.
time, where it may not budge for weeks and you're like, what the heck am I doing wrong? You're not. Actually, you're not doing anything wrong. Your body is actually thriving off of how consistent you've been, and just watch. And I love proving my clients wrong. I'm like, I guarantee you in the next week or two, out of nowhere, it's going to drop by 3 pounds. And it does all the time. And so I'm just like, look, where if you were not working with a coach at that very time, you probably would have switched things up,
Hmm.
right? You probably would have told yourself, this isn't working anymore and I need to do something different. And almost 9 out of 10 times, my clients are like, yep, I probably would have lowered my calories, or I would have just been like, oh, macros aren't working for me. I'm going to go do whole 30 again, or whatever it might be. But if you just stick it out and tackle the mental hurdles, your body is going to thank you for it.
Yes.
Because if you're constantly switching, especially switching something that's working for
Hmm.
you, then your body is going to be confused all over again. And yes, you're going to have to start from scratch. And so, if this is something that has your body has responded positively to, that means it's working. And so, don't keep switching things every freaking time you don't see progress after a
Yeah.
week or two.
Yeah. That's
Um,
what got you in.
you gotta just sit with
Yeah,
it.
and that's what got you into
Exactly.
this kind of mess, air quotes, in the first place is switching every time something doesn't feel like it's quite going right. You gotta give it time. Give it time to really work for you. A week, 2 weeks is not long enough. We need a little bit more time than that to really see things happening. And like Zan said, if it's going in the right direction for you, don't quit just from, a week of stagnation. That just means it's coming. You just gotta keep going, keep pushing through. A lot of times when clients like ask me about this, like, why is it taking so long? Am I plateaued? That kind of thing. And they just feel like they want to give up. It's like, okay, but what's the alternative? Giving up? That sucks. That's not a way to, go about goals. You're never going to reach your goal if that's always the alternative, or going to a different like diet, like you mentioned. Because then you got to learn that diet and truth be told, most of the actual diets out there are some crazy way to track your calories in, whether it's points or like stoplight colors, like all that stuff. There's all sorts of different things out there, and it takes a while to just learn that. And you've already learned macros and true, the true science behind food, which is calories and macronutrients. And so let's just stick with it a little longer and see what happens because
Hmm.
good things are coming. You just got to give your body time
Exactly.
to respond. And another thing too, sorry, I need to cut you off, but
No, no, go
another
on.
thing too is just that, even if like you're doing all these things, you're eating your protein, eating the calories that your body needs, eating fiber, drinking water, working out, all the things, is that these are really wonderful things even without the fat loss. Like these are great things. They keep you going, they help you live a healthier life, and they're setting you up for really amazing success and quality of life later on. So even if the fat loss isn't there, this is a wonderful way to live your life too. So,
Hmm. That's why I always emphasize we take a holistic approach to your goals. Most programs out there or diets are going to tell you how to exercise and how to eat, but are you focusing on other areas that impede on your health goals? And this is exactly why you'll lose the weight fast, but gain it right back because you are not establishing habits
exactly.
behind this.
Mhm.
And that is literally why the habit is called the habit.
Love it.
Yes, we're going to teach you nutrition and exercise, but once we focus on all these other habits, surrounding your health goals, like, sleep hygiene, stress management, getting your steps in, all of those things, you're going to get a full picture and actually get a true understanding of all the areas that really all kind of
Yeah.
coincide. And once you start focusing on habits and not just looking at numerical progress, that is when your world is going to
Yeah.
change and you are going to see that you are actually experiencing progress every single day,
Mhm.
but just not
Yep.
numerically. And that's
Yep.
fine. Um, kind of going back to when we were talking like how clients, tend to switch things up too often if they feel like they've stalled. Now, the one thing we do want to switch are your macros, but not in the direction that you
Mhm.
think we want to. We're not going to lower them. If there's any changes, we're going to push you into either a diet break or
Mhm.
maintenance. And I know that's something that Morgan really wanted to hone in on just in terms of also realistic expectations
Yeah.
with this phase. Most people dieting on their own, let's say they hit their plateau, whether they are educated or not, the go to is okay, well, these calories aren't serving me anymore. I'm going to cut my calories again. And now they are dieting for over a year and their body is actually responding in an adverse way and they're starting to gain weight back. So, why is this happening? And what should this client have done instead of lowering their calories? If they were working with us, with a
Mhm.
coach, what would we have done differently, Morgan?
Yeah, so if this was my client, and I've definitely had this client many, many times, this is where,
Oh, yes.
diet breaks really come in handy, and I would say, honestly, if this client had been dieting for a full year, I would just go straight onto maintenance because that's the longer term. So, just the difference between a maintenance phase and a diet break is just, the difference in timeline. So, a diet break is literally what it sounds like. It is a break from your diet, and it's shorter term. So, anything this really depends on the person and the coach and all that, but I would say 2 to, like, 4 weeks. That's kind of what an average diet break is like. Maintenance is really a longer phase, and it takes a little bit longer to understand and really live there and just get the full grasp of it. And it also includes a reverse diet. So, a reverse diet is where you increase your calories from your deficit up to your maintenance, your true maintenance level. And so, this is usually for most clients like a 5 to 600 calorie increase up to maintenance, and so that's why we kinda chop it up into that reverse diet where it doesn't feel like such a massive jump, um, and it helps with just the psychological part of increasing calories because it's scary, and so giving you that little bit
Hmm.
of time to really do that is nice. But that's what I would've done. I would have definitely gone to maintenance after that and just spent some time there because, again, this is another phase that usually is uncharted territory for pretty much everybody, and so it takes a lot of time to really understand it. So I would say probably at least a 6-month maintenance phase to really get it, and maybe even longer, especially if you've been dieting for a full year, to understand and give your body the chance to kind of heal from that intense deficit that you were in for so long. And
Hmm.
you don't need to be scared about maintenance. Maintenance is exactly how it sounds too. You are maintaining your result from your deficit. You're not gaining. That is a surplus. We're not doing that. Maintenance is truly maintaining that. And with a coach, even better because you get to
Hmm.
experience all of like the knowledge from your coach and have them in your corner and talk you off a ledge whenever you're getting nervous about all of that stuff. So it really is wonderful, but you got to give it time to work too.
Hmm. So, we did a full episode on what diet breaks are. So, we're not going to spend too much time on what that is. If you want to listen, go back to a few episodes. But in terms of maintenance, like Morgan was saying, once you do it once, you're not going to fear it anymore because you're actually going to see the benefits behind it. And we've gone over 1,000 times the benefits behind maintenance. But when we get a client to maintenance, we still are reached with or met with resistance because it is foreign territory. We are no longer chasing numerical progress at all. And it is really difficult to shift your mindset from numerical progress to maybe habit progress and other things in life. And one, I mean, having us coaches by your side is going to encourage you and to show you the different areas to really hone in on so that you can still feel accomplished. But clients tend to get very impatient in maintenance because we thrive obviously off of that instant gratification. When we wake up and the scale has dropped, I mean,
Feels
yeah,
good.
that's what gives, yeah, it feels damn good. And that's something to celebrate,
For sure.
absolutely. But maintenance, you're not going to get those moments. So you have to find moments that are still going to give you, kind of that reaction that you may have had with weight loss on the scale, whatever it might
Mhm.
be. But we're constantly, Morgan, I think you can attest to this. When clients are in maintenance, let's say a month goes by, they're like, okay, can I go back into a
N
deficit? I'm ready. I'm ready.
Absolutely not.
And we're like, no, no, no. So what do you kind of tell your clients in terms of, again, realistic expectations, and how do you show them that the longer you're in maintenance, the more beneficial
Yeah.
it's going to be?
So, I think I've might have had a couple of clients possibly ask me about, going back into a deficit after maybe a month or 2 at maintenance. The reason that this doesn't happen super often for you probably can agree to our clients is just because it feels really good to be there and you've stopped dieting and it's not so miserable during living during maintenance. You can go out to eat, you can hang out with friends easier. It's just life is so much better there. But the clients that do just really want to get back into a diet or a deficit, usually I just go back and look at where we were at before because most of the time there's a reason why we go to maintenance. You plateaued, you weren't losing weight. And so this 1 month, it's just not enough time to heal from what we were, doing before where we were 6 months in a deficit. That's just not long enough. And so, if we were to go back, then we'd probably run into the same issue. Your body would immediately adapt right back to those lower calories, and it's viewing that as your actual maintenance, which sucks for more deficit calories to be your maintenance calories. No fun, no way to live. I mean, truly just not good for your health in general either. So, yeah, I usually just try to just present the facts mostly. And I think
Hmm.
once, our eyes are open to that and really seeing, what's going on, how our body's working, and then point out the good things that are happening in maintenance, usually most people are like, "Okay, yeah, this is pretty nice."
Hmm.
So,
Hmm. Yeah. But nonetheless, you still get that itch, right? Even clients who are like super like trusting of the process of us, they're still itching to get back into that deficit because yeah, maintenance isn't, I guess, I mean, I love maintenance. I think it's fun, but some people are more driven, and motivated while being in a deficit. And so, yes, it's teaching them other areas to focus on, but it's also challenging them and just saying like, okay, how are you going to feel when you get back into a deficit and you get back at it where you have to limit yourself, right, of some of the things that you've been enjoying, and then you don't see any progress over 4 weeks? What are you going to feel like? And they're like, most likely disappointed, maybe even feeling like a failure or my body's not working. Well, the truth is, you just didn't stay in maintenance long enough. So the fact that you already kind of jumped over the biggest challenge, going into reverse, getting to maintenance. That is the
Yeah.
hardest part. But now you're sitting in
Mhm.
maintenance. So don't make it any harder on
Yeah.
yourself. Sit there and enjoy it. You got through the worst of
Mhm.
it. And now, the longer, I always tell my clients, the longer you stay in maintenance, the more likely your body's going to respond to its next deficit. So there was one client where just, very resistant to anything and everything I was
Mhm.
telling her, and I get it, it's a
Mhm.
scary
Mhm.
concept, but, there are some clients where I have to just let them do what they want so that, truthfully, I can, at the end, be like, "I
You
told
know,
you
my
so," but
little
obviously
brother's
in a
like that.
very loving way.
He has to do everything his own way, even though older
Yep.
sister, I've told him, like, "Don't do that." And nope, just
Yep.
gotta learn the
Oh,
hard way,
yeah.
which some of
We're
us are like
stubborn.
that.
Hey, actually, I'm a very stubborn person, so I get
Yeah,
it. When I'm met with stubborn clients, I'm like, "Okay, girl, I
I feel
got
ya.
you because
Yep,
I can be
yep.
stubborn too. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna tell you exactly what's gonna happen, and I'm gonna let
Mhm,
you go back into a deficit, and I wanna just basically see what
mhm.
happens." And 10 out of 10 times they come back, they're like, "Okay, Zan, you were right. I should have stayed in
Yeah,
maintenance." But the thing is, I allowed that path to happen because sometimes you don't truly believe what you're being told until you actually
yeah,
expose yourself and
yeah.
see it yourself. And so I mean, look, we chalk it up, we laugh about it,
Mhm.
and I get to say, "Girl, I told you so." And we make
Yeah,
fun of it, but there are some moments where we have to just show you what we're talking
mhm,
about, and so that you can kind of trust what we're
mhm.
saying. And we're not offended
No.
if you're not
Mhm,
trusting the process by any means. It can be brand new territory, and we've been
mhm,
there, we've been in your shoes. And so sometimes we have to challenge clients that way, but it
mhm,
all works out in the end. And now
mhm.
after they saw that, they're like, "Okay, I'm not even gonna ask anymore. Just tell me when I get to go back into a deficit." I'm like,
Cool.
"Okay, you
Yeah,
got
yeah, I
it."
love that. That's so true for some
I know.
clients, just, letting them experience it, and I'm the same way, honestly. I think back to whenever I first, like, did a maintenance phase, I've done all of this. Everything that I'm like, "Don't do," I've done it. So, just speaking
Mhm.
from true experience, but yeah, it's pretty amazing whenever you do spend a longer amount of time at maintenance, and you'll learn to really, really love it, but really just gotta give it some time to truly work, and it's always longer
Mhm.
than we want or expect it to. And I do wanna throw out here too, you've kind of mentioned this, but, with our clients, they do have the choice of a certain length of time that they do our program, and so sometimes I know there's probably some clients listening to this and being like, "Oh, I was only in maintenance for, a couple months," but we do, try and work with everybody to make sure that they especially, I'm saying this for myself, I try and make sure that they can experience most stages, at least, of nutrition, in the program that they're in. Of course, if they resign, even better, we can really just keep going, longer than that 6-month period or 4-month period. So some clients, yes, they may do a shorter, like, maintenance phase, but truly kind of the, like, sweet spot is 6 months or longer probably, but I just wanna throw that
Mhm.
out there in case
Yeah.
anybody was wondering.
Yeah. No, exactly. And if you're a client that's with us, and you're not with us for a year, we're still going to set you up for
Right.
success. We're going to guide you. We're going to tell you what we would do with
Yes.
you if you were to continue the program. Now, obviously, we hope you do it, but this is kind of why, we do push clients. Be with us for a year, and we're going to cycle you through those phases multiple times to where you finally will experience deficit to maintenance, and then you'll be able to continue that on your own and create that foundation for you, because once you go through 1 year of cycling, you really do grasp, whoa, okay,
Mhm.
this might actually take years for me to get to where I'm at. And the thing is that timeline dissipates because you're turning it into a
Yes. Yep.
lifestyle rather than a deadline, and that again is the true game changer in terms of long-term sustainable
Yes.
success.
Absolutely.
So yeah.
Yep. I love it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes. Well, anything else you want to
I don't
add?
think so. I feel like we covered all the bases for the
Yeah.
most part.
I think that was the little
I do.
cherry on top for
Yes.
the end
Yes,
there.
absolutely.
All right. Well, until next time, and we hope that, this message finds you well and that you really do understand. We're here to help you, not to trap you into a program forever. And we want to give you that education so that you can have the confidence to take this journey on your own.
Definitely.
So, yes, we will be back soon.
Bye.
All right, bye.